Behold. Is it dumb? Yes. Is it too dumb? I don't think so yet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Between the Trucks. Late evening. It's a scorcher. It's real still. I brought this fan, but I thought you guys would want to hear this Between the Trucks YouTube program, so we've turned it off, and boy, can I feel a difference. Anyway, what we have here is a brand new to us Harbor Freight, this thing badoodle. So it is a 15-gallon, 12-volt sprayer. We got a lot we need this to do. We are back here at the ranch, and it is overgrown. We've been fighting it back. We fixed the lawnmower, and that has actually been keeping this at bay. We've used our mini skid steer and our mini excavator, mostly like kind of test runs, learning to help tear up some stuff, but they did some work and we got a lot more to do. In addition, like I said, I got this from Harbor Freight, so while I was there, I picked up some of these things, which were a recommendation from a viewer. Thank you very much. I think they're gonna do mighty work when we replace those teeth with some of these. And I think those hooks are going to help a great deal with this wisteria, which my property line's probably only about 10 or 12 feet back, but I plan on reclaiming every inch of it from this jungle. Now we got a long way to go, but just to show you, this is attached by a root to that. So the battle is real. And then right behind me, we've got English ivy that's killing trees, and we've got poison ivy that's everywhere. And if poison ivy wasn't enough, and English ivy wasn't enough, mosquitoes love this stuff. We got to fight back, is what I'm saying. We have got to fight back. So I'm gonna level with you. I don't like using chemistry for this type of thing. I prefer manual means of extraction. I'm not scared to work hard to pull undesired plants from the desired plants or whatever. I'm not a big gardener, but I don't like spraying poison all over the place. On the other hand here, I could work myself to the bone trying to fight this stuff, even with all this equipment that I've invested in to help me do it. So I got this thing because it was the cheapest. Harbor Freight beat everybody else out by a long shot. The trailer sprayers started at like $350. Found some used ones on Craigslist, and I thought, you know what, I'm not driving 3 hours for an untested machine. So I got this thing. Again, price was the biggest deal. This is 90 bucks, no sales, no nothing. But it occurred to me that I can use it in several places. Like this guy's got it on an ATV. I bought a hitch pin while we were there. If I build a little trailer, we can put it on there. We can drive it around in the bucket of this thing. And we can also jam it in the back of this pickup truck. So in addition to it being the least expensive, it also provided a bit of versatility that I thought was nice. You can let a buddy borrow it. This is the unboxing process. I'm trying to do it as clumsily as possible. Anything else in there? Nickel hoppers. All right. These things, which is kind of cool. The thing all of these vehicles have in common is they're all 12 volts. Yep, that's 15 feet of hose, a 15-gallon tank, a 12-volt pump, and a battery connection. So you just kind of jump it right off to a battery or stick it to the battery of whatever it is you're driving around that's likely to be 12 volts, unless you have a real old Ford, and then it's 6 volts and you're just gonna have to deal with that positive ground. So 15 gallons of juice in here at roughly water's 8.6 gallons a pound. That's in the ballpark of 130 pounds just right there. So don't want to be toting it around on my back, but I do want to be able to remove it from whatever I towed it with. So let's come up with a plan. I think for right now, figuring out how to attach it to the lawnmower is the most convenient, I think. Essentially because it's going to be nimble enough to get us up into the fence lines and around the nooks and crannies a little bit bigger than one of our full-size trucks would be. And well, that guy, gang, we'll get there, I promise. So why make a project out of it? Well, because that's what I do with everything, because I'm cheap, gang. So I had sort of a fleeting idea that we're going to call now a half-cocked plan. That, ladies and gentlemen, is to take one of these disassembled, busted mower decks and turn it into a mini trailer using some other junk that we find around here. So we're going to repurpose some junk, hopefully, make it useful, and get it out of our way at the same time. Well, it'll still kind of be in our way because it'll still be here, but instead of just being in our way, it'll also serve a purpose, which is better. Ooh, more bug spray. All right. Anything good? Yeah, man. Jackpot. So we're really looking... Oh, that's... she's down. Why is this even here? I mean, we could fix it, but we got other options, so we don't have to do that. What about you? I mean, you kind of have wheels. What about you? All right. Quick test. All right, yeah, sure. Okay. Perfect. Rolls and everything. All right, so there's a brief moment that I ignored where I thought, well, what if it had 4 wheels? Because if it did, then I could push it around with the handle if I had a... and just like move it places that are really hard to get to. And then I thought, well, no, because then I would need a battery to go with it. But then I just thought, would that be really helpful? And it might be. And then I thought, well, would that be helpful? It might be. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. There's lawnmower wheels everywhere. We can add some wheels to the front, and then suddenly we got 4 wheels. But we'll just double check our candidates outside. Here I am thinking, yeah, dog, we got wheels. And then even better, look at all these wheels. No, that one's broken. Never mind. How about you? No, you're broken. Okay, fine. We got other wheels. Not gonna lie to you, I'm definitely partial to these super cool old jalopy wheels, but I can see that as potentially problematic, even though they're solid. Yep, that one's down too. Oh, and apparently they are not solid. More of a problem. These look similar-ish to what we need. Junk has moved in, not out. Yep. Also upgraded to the old PB blaster. Usually I drop these on the first go and break the top right off, and then we end up back with the WD-40. Hi-ya! Strangely enough, the wheel over here is just a normal, regular, on the axle kind of wheel. This one tried to be fancy and it's dead now. Apparently I'm just going to let it ride with half a bearing. It's fine. It's going to be great. It's going to be my favorite. Sure. We need to look at how to make a hitchifier that will hitchify this over to that, which you can't see because it's dark. Yep. Come on, little buddy. So the goal here would be, as it tows, to have the front wheels off the ground. Not a crazy angle, but enough so that this steers better, you know? That ought to do it. It'll be more than enough. Basically, we need a majigger that goes from there to there. Here's the thing. And based on how this thing sits on this thing, I'm gonna come out, go up, and then attach, which is not a big deal at all, it doesn't seem. Just kind of rooting around old junk, looking what I trying to see what we can come up with here. All right, so I found some pretty good junk. At the other shop, I have a welder and I have some metal and I could make a bracketries, but rooting around here reminds me of the old TV show Junkyard Wars, which I always wanted to be on. And so I'm kind of trying to do it out of parts I find right here in, you know, this building or surrounding this building where we found that. So I found this bell crank. If I bolt that on there, I gotta find a way to attach it to that thing. Theoretically, I could just drill another hole, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Would you believe it? Correctly sized nut washer, lock washer. Now I know it's not straight, but is there anything telling me I can't just, you know, do that? No, I don't think there is. Gang, I know this is dumb. I just can't resist the idea of getting it all done with stuff in this room. Considering how absurd this is and unthought out, I'm still bolstered by potential success. And considering I have only mildly maimed myself so far, we should go ahead and not quit while we're ahead and drag this thing around the yard and see what happens. We've got like 3 seconds of daylight left. Let's do it. Uh-oh. I'm not even kidding you. That was the universe saying, no, dog, bad idea. Literally got it fired up, got it hooked up, got it ready to drive out in front of you fine people, in front of this camera, and ran out of gas, like completely out of gas. I got a gas can over there, but guess what? Not gonna do it. We got more to do anyway. This is pretty half-cocked. I'll be back in a day or two, which for you guys will be right now. Bright new day. Well, not quite. It's late afternoon, but it's a new day, and I kind of got some rest, which means I am like 3.67% less likely to maim myself. Also, after a little bit of rest, this is even dumber and more brilliant than it was previously. Now, I can certainly already see the utility for some kind of garden tractor wagon thing, device, cart, machine that we may very well build someday soon. This, as ridiculous as it looks, I hope, we're about to find out, I think that this handle and 4 wheels to move this tank is gonna be great. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I weigh more than the 130 pounds that's gonna weigh full. So, you know, just might work, as dumb as it is. And if it works, is it even dumb? So here we are already with a couple minor snags. First of all, I don't have running water here, but that's not a big deal. I loaded this thing in the back of the truck to go fill it up, but I also checked this is expensive stuff, gang. Expensive stuff. Bought it at the Home Depot. I bought this stuff thinking I was gonna fill 1-gallon sprayers and march my happy self around the property spraying stuff. Clearly, we got smarter since that plan, but in theory, this is enough to do 8 gallons at its concentrated mixture. So, considering we got a lot to do, and once I get going, I wanna get going, it's not enough. So we're gonna have to run to the hardware store and see if we can buy a whole mess of this stuff, because boy howdy, do we have a whole mess of this stuff. And for those of you that have watched the mini excavator and mini skid steer video where I was destroying all of this stuff, I mean, it's all coming back. It's just, it hasn't been that long, gang. We're back at Mikasa here and filling this thing up. I'm gonna try it out, obviously, before we add chemistry to it, make sure the thing even works. I am noting the pickup tube is down on the drain end. So when we stick this thing on our like super homemade wagon, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that the drain tube is on the downslope on the thing. That way we'll be able to get everything out. Now, I picked this stuff up at the hardware store. You can see there's the active ingredients there. Active ingredients on this one, they're similar but different. Triethylamylene salt, isopropylamylene salt. Can't imagine they're terribly different, but because they are different, we're gonna try them in different places. We'll do the ortho probably in the front of the house, and we'll do the extended brush killer on the back side of the house. Guys, this is a big pickup truck. These leads are pretty awesome if they work. This is a long bed pickup truck, and they clearly reach to the front. So we're gonna test this thing out right now. Nothing. Interesting. So for any of you at home that are trying this, I ended up needing to prime the pump. I pulled the intake out and I jammed the hose next to it, kind of ran water through it with this open, and you could hear the pump change tones, and now it has stopped itself even though it's connected. So if there we go. So I guess while we just have water in there, we can kind of get a spray pattern almost. Okay. I will say that every time I pull the trigger, this thing locks it on. It seems to like catch it. All right, not unimpressed. All right, from 3 seconds of playing with this thing, I can tell you right now that it's so much better than the pump Hudsons that I've been using my whole life. I'm excited about it. Just to state the obvious though, the utility of being able to hook this up to the battery, like our first go on this, we might just drive this up the driveway, park it, and use the sprayer right against the house because it's already set up to go. That's pretty swell. It doesn't mean that I don't think the wagon's gonna be worthwhile or the little trailer version of the wagon to get around the property, but you know, right now, eventually, you know, I got a lot of grass growing in my driveway and not a lot of grass growing in my grass, if you know what I'm saying. So this setup could prove very useful. Now, I don't think these are going to survive, but I'm going to try to bring 10 gallons-ish with me. Got my do it all right bucket there. We're gonna boogie back to the other house. I thought I'd give you guys front row seat to see how much of this 15 gallons of water makes it. Thinking maybe 5. How do we do? Way better than expected. Holy moly. Houston, we have a problem. Either I broke this or it came broken. That's a problem. Balls. Well, poop. Need a solution now. The good news here, ladies and gentlemen, is I chose wisely and did not add $60 worth of stuff killer to this before I broke that off. Off to the hardware store once more, and hopefully this is pretty universal. All right, who doesn't love rounders to the hardware store instead of actually getting something done? All right, moment of truth. Yep, that's pretty standard. All right, all right, all right. Got a spare. This thing lives around here. It is like the toughest cat I've ever seen in my life. Basically just cruises around and pees on stuff, but like, I mean, first time I ever went in the house, that thing was in there laying on the bed. Not even kidding you. That's the one occupant of this house over the last 17 years. So, you know what I haven't seen? A single mouse or rat around here. I want not much to do with him, but I'm also not going to run him off because, you know, good on him. So we seem to have two very different products here, unbeknownst to me, essentially. This one seems to want to be applied to soil. This one kind of wants to be applied to leafy stuff and vines. This is more of the issue that we have here. That said, we're still going to give this a go around the house where we do have soil showing, especially over in this area where it's all wisteria and stuff growing back. Both of these products claim to kill for about a year. If we're lucky, it'll be the summer. It is a full-blown jungle out here. We'll get a lot of rain and that type of stuff. What I'm trying to do here, our goals are to just keep the stuff at bay so that we can continue to work on the house, the garage, and all of that stuff without having to basically come out here and destroy weeds every single day. We got about 10 gallons that survived. 2 of these ought to treat about 10 gallons. We're gonna have at it. We got it all rigged up in the pickup truck for kind of a trial run because I can get to all of this. So we'll if any of you guys think I'm nuts, there is no danger of us doing any landscaping for a calendar year. So it's locking on. I gotta get rid of that. Well, maybe I don't. I don't know. No idea how far 15 gallons will go. Again, this is the herbicide that's supposed to go to the soil, not so much to the leaves. So we'll use this to treat the surrounding of the house, see what happens. Then we'll try the other stuff in the backyard. First impressions on that thing as a tool alone, if all you've ever used is a hand pump garden sprayer, which is really all I've ever used, night and day. Huge difference. Volume, pressure, distance, spread, all of it. It's like upgrading from a hose to a pressure washer. So if you got a lot to do, 90 bucks, it's probably worth every penny, considering, you know, a 1 or 2 gallon sprayer is 10 to 20 bucks. Like, yeah. Despite being perpetually unprepared, I actually have, oh no, a lot less gas now that I just spilled it everywhere. Dang it. What do I get? Trying to act like I had it worked out. The moment we've all been waiting for. How dumb is this wagon? 11, at least. 11 dumbs. Huh. Apparently we knocked off the drive belt. Today is just going that way, gang. 45 minutes and one minor safety delete later. Here we go. Behold. Is it dumb? Yes. Is it too dumb? I don't think so yet. I mean, I definitely think our hitch system needs some serious improvement. Like, obviously, this can just kind of run itself into the back of the mower. But I think we'll be okay for right now. Get a little leak out of that. Don't love that. Anyway, let's spray some stuff. Die, poison ivies. Die. Time for a test drive. Towing the thing. Maybe it'll be great. I don't know. Maybe it'll be disastrous. squishy. We kind of melted this. Hopefully, checking the pump. Hopefully we didn't melt the pump and just fried that. So let's fix these connections and keep that from happening again. While I'm patching this up with the old Presto Changeo Harbor Freight super cheapo crimp kit that will hold for like 5 minutes, this is working remarkably well. The trailer is actually pulling fine. I've reversed it fine. And the sprayer, this is my own fault. I didn't realize the seat spring was half broken, so this was just getting smushed between the seat and the body right there, and then it eventually wore through a little bit, and then it grounded itself out. That's fine. Can't expect it to not do that, really. So we'll come up with a little strain relief for it and figure that out. But hopping on and off this mower, spraying the bushes, walking 15 feet, or just driving around and spraying, depending on what's convenient, yeah, I think this is pretty awesome. Again, I understand the benefits of a trailer sprayer that has more gallons if you have monstrous property, but for me, the versatility. I mean, I used it in the back of my truck. I'm using it attached to this. It travels easily enough that I can pick it up while it's full. You know, it's not super light or anything, but it's not, you know, it's not crazy. I think I picked it up with 11 gallons in it, which is about a sheet of plywood, pressure treated, 3/4. All right, patched up and back in business. Repair is a working, pump is a working. So we're down to about a gallon in there. I'm gonna go ahead and load up on this stuff, and we're gonna go hit areas that are really, really full of poison ivy. We'll try it on some wisteria to see if it makes a dent, kind of as an experiment. But the goal with this stuff here is to clear out around the buildings, especially where there's huge patches of poison ivy. I am very lucky in that I'm not very allergic to poison ivy. I can usually walk through it and not have any reaction whatsoever. But if you hit it with a lawnmower or a weed whacker and turn it into like a, you know, poison ivy pesto, and it gets all over me, then I will get a little bit of it, but I still find that really annoying. So I consider myself very fortunate about that, but I'm trying to knock it all back so that I can start working in and around the poison ivy to kill the big stuff. So this is one of those areas that's just super, super full of massive poison ivy. It's not a huge deal, but I'd love to be able to mow this down because I'm sure it's also full of mosquitoes. And we can get in there with a chainsaw and a stick and take this privet out and all of that jazz, but I don't want to do it when I got to walk through all of this. But again, guys, this is working great. If I was doing this with a pump sprayer, I'd be here all day. All right, we got plenty left. We're gonna get around all these buildings, and then we're gonna do the fence line with everything we have left. Yeah. And now for my next trick, we gotta see if this cart thing works by itself. I haven't tried it yet. Otherwise, everything went remarkably well, beyond all expectation. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. Telling you what. Is it dumb if it works? Quick recap. It's super silly, but the sprayer itself from Harbor Freight, awesome. Have to check back in a week or so to see if the chemistry actually worked. All the stuff we sprayed on everything. So subscribe if you want to see the update on that thing. Yes, it's silly. Yes, we could have built something way more elegant. But why? It works, right? I thought about buying a garden wagon from Harbor Freight. Looked at sprayers that came with trailers, but this thing, there's a versatility in this that I like a lot. I've said it a bunch. Anyway, it's great. Now, if you don't have a busted old lawnmower laying around, you could just nab your kid's radio flyer and your girlfriend's car battery and just jam it all together, and you could push this thing around and it would spray all day long. As silly as this setup is, it worked, and I amused myself greatly putting it together on a whim, on a lark. And also, don't forget, that was destined for the scrap heap. We just took something that I had to go haul off for scrap and turned it into something useful. It's simple, and it worked. As always, thanks for watching Between the Sharks. Subscribe, it's the button down there. Helps me out a lot. It's a really big deal. I'm serious. I mean it. We got a lot more to do around here, so stay tuned. And hopefully this chemistry worked, and we'll be able to cut down on the poison ivy and mosquitoes. Anyway, good luck on your projects out there, and we will see you next time on Between the Sharks.